Alright, Act 2, Richard III. Scene 1, London, a room in the palace. Why so? Now have I done a good day's work. You peers, continue this united league. I every day expected embassage from my Redeemer to redeem me hence. And more in peace my soul shall part to heaven, since I have made my friends at peace on earth. Rivers and Hastings, take each other's hand. Dissemble not your hatred, swear your love. By heaven my soul is purged from grudging hate, and with my hand I seal my true heart's love. So thrive I, as I truly swear to lie. Take heed, you dally not before you king, lest he that is the supreme king of kings confound your hidden falsehood and award either of you to be the other's end. So prosper I, as I swear perfect love, and I, as I love Hastings with my heart. Madam, yourself are not exempt in this, nor you, son of Dorset, but nor you. You have been factious, one against the other. Wife, love, Lord Hastings, let him kiss your hand, and what you do, do it unfeignedly. There, Hastings, I will never more remember our former hatred, so thrive I and mine. Dorset, embrace him. Hastings, love Lord Marquis. This interchange of love, I here protest, upon my part shall be inviolable, and so swear I. Now, princely Buckingham, seal thou this league with thy embracements to my wife's allies, and make me happy.
With the thunder wind, I'm telling you, I'm about to pop some of those fireworks.
But with all duteous love doth cherish you and yours. God punish me with hate and those, for I expect most love. When I have most need to employ a friend, and most assured that he is a friend, deep, hollow, treacherous, and full of guile, be he unto me, as to a faith of God, when I am cold and never or worse. And pleasing cordial princely Buckingham, resist thy vow to my sickly pardon. There wanteth now our brother Gloucester here to make the blessed period of this peace. And in good time here comes the new.
So anyway, these guys are under arrest. I'm not arguing about that.
And princely peer, the happy time of day.
Who the fuck you are? You fucking
Happy
idiot.
indeed, as we have spent the day. Gloucester, we have done deeds of charity, made peace, and fair love of hate between these swelling, wrong and sense peers. A blessed labor, my most sovereign rule. Among this princely heap, if any year my false intelligence or wrong surmise hold me above, by unwittingly or in my rage, have often committed that as part of giving company in his presence. I desire to reconcile me to his peace, to death to me to be an enmity. I hate it, desire all good. First, madam, I entreat true peace of you, which I will purchase with my duty of service. Of you, my noble cousin Buckingham, if ever any grudge were lodged between us. Of you, Lord Rivers, and Lord Grey of you, that all without past have surrounded me. Of you, Lord Woodville, and Lord Scales. Of you, dukes, earls, lords, gentlemen, indeed of all. I do not know an Englishman alive with whom my soul is any jot at more than an infant that is born tonight. I thank my God for my humility. All the day shall this be kept hereafter. I would God all strifes, or well confound. My sovereign lord, I do beseech your grace to take your to your praise. Why, madam, have I offered love for this, to be so flattered in this royal presence? Who knows not that the gentle duke is dead? You do him injury to scorn his chorus. Who knows not he is dead? Who knows he is? All seeing heaven, what a world is this! Look I so pale, Lord Dorset, as the rest? Ay, my good lord, and no man in the presence but his red colour hath forsaken his cheeks. Is Clarence dead? The order was reversed, but he, poor man, by your first order died, and that a winged Mercury did bear. Some tardy cripple bore the countermand, that came too lag to see him buried. God grant that some, less noble and less loyal, near in bloody thoughts and not in blood, deserve not worse than wretched Clarence did, and yet go current from suspicion. A boon, my sovereign, for my service done. I prithee peace, my soul is full of sorrow. I will not rise unless your highness hear me. Then say at once, what is it thou requestest? The forfeit, sovereign, of my servant's life, who slew today a riotous gentleman, lately attended on the Duke of Norfolk. Have I a tongue to doom my brother's death, and shall that tongue give pardon to a slave? My brother killed no man, his fault was thought, and yet his punishment was bitter death. Who sued to me for him, who in my wrath kneeled at my feet, and bade me be advised? Who spoke of brotherhood, who spoke of love, who told me how the poor soul did forsake the mighty Warwick, and did fight for me? Who told me in the field of Tewkesbury, when Oxford had me down, he rescued me, and said, dear brother, live and be a king? Who told me, when we both lay in the field frozen almost to death, how he did lap me even the garments, and did give himself all thin and naked to the numb, cold night? All this from my remembrance brutish wrath sinfully plucked, and that man of you had such grace to put it in my mind. But when your craters or your waiting vassals have done a drunken slaughter and defaced the precious image of your dear Redeemer, you straight are on your knees for pardon. Pardon! And I unjust too must grant it too. But for my brother not a man would speak, nor I am gracious, speaking of myself for him, poor soul. The proudest of you all have been beholden to him in his life, yet none of you would want to beg for his life. O ye God, I fear that justice will take hold on me, and you and mine and yours for this. Come, Hastings, help me to my closet. O ye poor Clarence. This is the fruit of rashness. Marked you not how that the guilty kindred of the Queen looked pale when they did hear of Clarence's death? Oui, they did urge it still unto the King. God will revenge it. Come, lords, will you go to comfort Edward with your company? We wait upon your grace. Scene 2, the same, a room in the palace. Good Grandon, tell us, is our father dead? Noble, why do you wring your hands and beat your breast, and cry, O Clarence, my unhappy son? Why do you look on us, and shake your head, and call us orphans, wretches, castaways, if that our noble father be alive? My pretty cousins, you mistake me much. I do lament the sickness of the king, as loth to lose him, not your father's death. It were lost sorrow to wail one that's lost. Then Grandon, you conclude that he is dead. The king, my uncle, is to blame for it. God will revenge it, whom I will importune with earnest prayers, all to that effect. And so will I. Peace, children, peace. The king doth love you well. Incapable and shallow innocence, you cannot guess who caused your father's death. Grandam, we can. For my good uncle Gloucester told me the king, provoked too by the queen, devised impeachments to imprison him. And when my uncle told me so, he wept and pitied me, and kindly kissed my cheek. Bade me rely on him, as on my father, and he would love me dearly as his child. Ah, that deceit should steal such gentle shape, as with a virtuous vizard hide deep vice. He is my son, I, and therein my shame. Yet for my dogs he drew not this deceit. Thank you, my uncle, to dissemble Grandam. My boy, I cannot think it. Hark, what noise is this? Oh, who shall hinder me to wail and weep, to chide my fortune and torment myself? I'll join with black despair against my soul, and to myself become an enemy. What means this sense of rude impatience? To make an act of tragic violence, Edward, my lord, thy son, our king, is dead. Why grow the branches now the root is withered? Why wither not the leaves that want their sap? If you will live, lament. If die, be brief, that our swift-winged souls may catch the king's, or like obedient subjects follow him, to his new kingdom of perpetual rest. Ah, so much interest have I in thy sorrow, as I had title in thy noble husband. I had bewept a worthy husband's death, and lived with looking on his images. But now 2 mirrors of this princely semblance are cracked in pieces by malignant death. And I for comfort have but one false glass, that grieves me when I see my shame in her. Thou art a widow, yet thou art a mother, and hast the comfort of thy children left thee. But death hath snatched my husband from my arms, and plucked 2 crutches from my feeble limbs. Clarence and Edward, oi, what cause have I? Thy being out of moiety in my grief, to overgo thy plaints, and drown thy cries. Ah, aunt, You wept not for our father's death. How can we aid you with our kindred tears? Our fatherless distress was left unmoaned. Your widowed daughter likewise be unwept. Give me no help in lamentation. I am no baron to bring forth complaints. All springs reduce their currents to mine eyes, that I, being governed by the warped moon, may send forth plenteous tears to drown the world. Ah, for my husband, for my dear Lord Edward. Ah, for our father, for our dear Lord Clarence. Alas, for both mine, Edward and Clayton. What stay had I but Edward, and he's gone? What say had we but Clayton, and he's gone? What stays had I but they, and they are gone? Was never widow had so dear a loss? Was never orphans had so dear a loss? Was never mother had so dear a loss? Alas, I'm the mother of these griefs. Their woes are parcelled, mine are general. She for an Edward weeps, and so do I. I for a Clarence weep, so doth not she. These babes for Clarence weep, and so do I. I for an Edward weep, so do not they. Alas, you three on me, threefold distress, pour all your tears. I am your sorrow's nurse, and I will pamper it with lamentation. Comfort, dear mother, God is much displeased that you take with unthankfulness his doing. His common worldly things 'tis called ungrateful with done unwillingness to repay a debt, which with a bounteous hand was kindly lent. Much more to be thus opposite with heaven, for it requires a real debt and lent you. Madam, bethink you, like a careful mother, of the young prince your son sent straight for him. Let him be crowned, in him your comfort lies. Drown desperate sorrow in dead Edward's grave, and plant your joys in living Edward's throne. I have a ship that says otherwise. Sister, have comfort. All of us cause to wail the dimming of our shining star, but none can cure their harms by wailing them. Madam, my mother, I do cry you mercy. I did not see your grace. Humbly on my knee I crave your blessing. God bless thee, and put meekness in thy mind, love, charity, obedience, and true duty. Amen. And make me die a good old man. That is but end of the mother's blessing. I marvel at her grace to leave it out. You cloudy princes and heart-sorrowing peers, that bear this heavy mutual load of moan, now cheer each other in each other's love. Though we have spent our harvest of this king, we are to reap the harvest of his son. The broken rancor of your high-swollen hearts, but lately splintered, knit, and joined together, must gently be preserved, cherished, and kept. Me seemeth good, that with some little train, forthwith from Laloo, the young prince be fetched hither to London to be crowned our king. Why with some little train, my lord of Buckingham? Marry, my lord, lest by a multitude the new healed wound of malice should break out. Why would be so much the more dangerous by how much the estate is green and yet ungoverned, where every horse bear his commanding rein, and may direct his course as please himself, as well as fear of harm, as harm apparent, in my opinion, out to be prevented. I hope the king made peace with all of us, and compacted his firm and true in me, and so in me, and so I think in all, yet since it is but green, it should be put to no apparent likelihood of breach, which haply by much company might be urged. Therefore I say with noble Buckingham, that it is meet so few should fetch the princess. And so say I. Then it be so. And we go to determine who they shall be that straight shall post to Ludlow. Madam, and you, mother, will you go to give your censures to your business? Meg? Reason to believe, Brooke? My lord, whoever journeys to the prince, for God's sake, let not us two stay at home. For by the way, I'll sort of occasion, as indexed to the story we'll late talk of, to part of Queen's pride kindred from the prince. My other self, was it Blue Bonnie? My other self, my counsel's consistory, my oracle, my prophet, my dear cousin, I, as a child, will go by thy direction, towards Ludlow, then, for will not stay behind. Scene 3, the same as street. Good morrow, neighbor, whither away so fast? I promise you, I scarcely know myself. Hear you the news broad? Aye, that the king's dead. Ill news, byre lady, seldom comes the better. I fear, 'twill prove a giddy world. Neighbors, Godspeed. Give you good morrow, sir. Doth the news hold a good King Edward's death? Aye, sir, it is too true. God help the while. Then, masters, look to see a troublous world. No, by God's good grace, his son shall reign. Woe to that land that's governed by a child. In him there is hope of government, that in his nonage counsel under him, and in his full and ripened years himself, no doubt, shall then until then govern well. So stood the state when Henry VI was crowned at Paris, but at 9 months old. Stood the state so? No, good friends, God won't. For then this land was famously enriched, with politic grave counsel. Then the king had virtuous uncles to protect his grace. Why, so hath this, both by his father and mother. Better it were they all came by his father, or by his father there were none at all. For emulation, who shall now be nearest, will touch us all too near, if God prevent it not. Oh, full of danger is the Duke of Gloucester, and the Queen's sons and brothers hot and proud, and were they to be ruled, and not to rule, this sickly land might solace as before. Come, we fear the worst, all will be well. When clouds are seen, wise men put on their cloaks. When great leaves fall, then winter is at hand. When the sun sets, who doth not look for night? And timely storms make men expected dearest. All may be well, but if God sort it so, 'tis more than we deserve, or I expect. True, the hearts of men are full of fear. You cannot reason almost with a man that looks not heavily and full of dread. Before the days of change, still it is so. By divine instinct men's minds mistrust ensuing danger, as by proof. We see the water swell before a boisterous storm, but leave it all to God. Whither away? Mary. We were sent for to the justices, and so was I. I'll bear you company. Scene 4 the same, a room in the palace. Last night, I hear, they lay at Northampton, at Stony Stafford, they do rest tonight. Tomorrow or next day they will be here. I long with all my heart to see the prince. I hope he has much grown since I last saw him. But I hear no. They say my son of York hath almost overtaken him in his growth. Aye, mother, but I would not have it so. Why, my young cousin, it is good to grow. Grandam, one night, as we did sit at supper, my uncle River talked how I did grow more than my brother. I quoth my uncle Gloucester, small herbs have grace, great weeds grow apace. And since methinks I would not grow so fast, because sweet flowers are slow and weeds make haste. Good faith, the same did not hold, and him that did object the same to thee. He was a wretched thing when he was young, so long a-growing, and so leisurely, that if his rule were true, he should be gracious. And so no doubt he is, my gracious madam. I hope he is, but yet let mothers doubt. Now, by my troth, if I had been remembered, I could have given my uncle's grace a flout, to touch his growth nearer than he touched mine. How, my young York? I prithee, let me hear it. Nary, they say my uncle grew so fast that he could gnaw a crust at 2 hours old. 'Twas full 2 years ere I could give him tooth. Grandam, this would have been a biting jest. I prithee, pretty York, who told thee this? Grandam, his nurse. His nurse? Why, she was dead ere thou wast born. It were not she, I cannot who told me. A parlous boy, go to, you are too shrewd. Good madam, be not angry with the child. Pitchers have ears. Here comes a messenger. What news? Such news, my lord, as grieves me to report. How doth the prince? Well, madam, and in health. What is thy news? Lord Rivers and Lord Grey are sent to Pomfret, with them Sir Thomas Vaughan prisoners. Who hath committed them? The mighty Dukes, Gloucester and Buckingham. For what offence? The sum of all I have disclosed, why or for what the nobles were committed, is all unknown to me, my gracious lord. Ah, me, I see the ruin of my house. The tiger now hath seized the gentle hind. Insulting tyranny begins its jet upon the innocent and all is thrown. Welcome, destruction, death, and massacre. I see, as in a map, the end of all. Accursed and unquiet wrangling days, how many of you have mine eyes beheld? My husband lost his life to get the crown, and often up and down my sons were tossed, for me to joy and weep their gain and loss. And being seated in domestic broils, clean overblown, themselves the conquerors make war upon themselves. Brother to brother, blood to blood, self against self, oi, preposterous, and frantic outrage end thy damned spleen, or let me die, to look on death no more. Come, come, my boy, we will to sanctuary. Madam, farewell. Stay, I will go with you. You have no cause. My gracious lady, go, and thither bear your treasure and your goods for my part. I resign unto your grace the seal I keep, and so betide to me as well I tender you in all of yours. Come, I'll conduct you to the sanctuary. Act 3, Scene 1, the same street. Welcome, sweet prince, to London, to your chamber. Welcome, dear cousin, my thoughts sovereign. The weary way hath made you melancholy. No, uncle, but our crosses on the way have made it tedious, wearisome, and heavy. I want more uncles here to welcome me. Sweet prince, the untainted virtue of your years hath not yet died into the world's deceit. No more can you distinguish of a man than of his outward show, which God he knows, seldom or never jumpeth with the heart. Those uncles which you want were dangerous. Your grace attends to their sugared words, but look not on the poison of your hearts. God keep you from them, and from such false friends. God keep me from false friends, but they were none. My lord, the mayor of London comes to greet you. God bless your grace with health and happy days. I thank you, good my lord, and thank you all. I thought my mother and my brother York would long ere this have met us on the way. Fie, what a slug is Hastings, that he comes not to tell us whether they will come or no. And in good time here comes the Switton lord. Welcome, my lord. What will our mother come? On what occasion, God he knows not I. The queen your mother and your brother York have taken sanctuary. The tender prince would fain have come with me to meet your grace, but by his mother was perforce withheld. With an indirect and peevish course, is this of hers? Lord Cardinal, will your grace persuade the queen to send the Duke of York unto the princely brother presently? If she deny, Lord Hastings go with him, and from her jealous arms pluck him perforce. My lord of Buckingham, if my weak oratory can from his mother win the Duke of York, anon expect him here. But if she be obdurate to mild entreaties, God in heaven forbid we should infringe the holy privilege of blessed sanctuary. Not for all this land would I be guilty of so great a sin. You are too senseless, obstinate, my lord, too ceremonious in tradition. Weigh it but with the grossness of this age. You break not sanctuary in seizing him. The benefit thereof is always granted to those whose dealings have deserved the place, and those who have the wit to claim the place. This princess neither claimed it nor deserved it, and therefore in mine opinion cannot have it. Then making him from thence, that is not there. You break no privilege, nor charge her there. Oft have I heard of sanctuary men, but sanctuary children ne'er till now. My lord, you shall overrule my mind for once. Come on, Lord Hastings, will you go with me? I go, my lord. Good lords, make all the speed haste you may. Say, Uncle Gloucester, if our brother came, where shall we sojourn till our coronation? where it seems best unto your royal self, if I may consume some day or two, your highness shall repose you at the tower. Then where you please, and shall be thought most fit for your best health and recreation. I do not like the tower of any place. Did Julius Caesar build that place, my lord? He did, my gracious lord, begin that place, which since succeeding ages have redefined. Is it upon record, or else reported, successfully from age to age he built it? Upon record, my gracious lord. But say, my lord, it were not registered. Methinks the truth should live from age to age, as 'twere retailed to all posterity, even to the general all-ending day. So wise, so young, they say, do never live long. What say you, uncle? I say, without character's fame, live long. Thus, like the form of vice, iniquity, I moralize two meanings in one word. That Julius Caesar was a famous man, with what his valor did enrich his wit set down to make his valor live. Death makes no conquest of his conqueror. For now he lives in fame, though not in life. I'll tell you, what my cousin Buckingham, what my gracious lord, and if I live until I be a man, I'll win our ancient right in France again, or die a soldier, as I lived a king. Short summers likely have a forward spring. Now, in good time, here comes the Duke of York. Richard of York, how fares our loving brother? Well, my dread lord, so must I call you now. Aye, brother, to agree, as it is yours. Too late he died that might have kept that title, which by his death hath lost much majesty. How fares our cousin, noble Lord of York? I thank you, gentle uncle. Wait, my lord, you said that idle weeds are fast in growth. The prince my brother hath overgrown, we fall. He hath, my lord, and therefore he is idle? Wait, my fair cousin, I must not say so. Then he is more beholding to you than I. He may command me as my sovereign, but you have power in me as a kinsman. I pray you, uncle, give me this dagger. My dagger, little cousin, with all my heart. A beggar, brother, of my kind uncle that I know will give, and being but a toy, which is no grief to give. A greater gift than that I'll give my cousin. A greater gift? Oh, wait, that's the sword to it. Aye, gentle cousin, we're light enough. Oh, wait, then I see, you'll part but with light gifts. In weightier things, you'll say a beggar nay. It is too weighty for your grace to wear. It weigh lightly, wear it heavier. What, would you have my weapon, little lord? I would that I might thank you as you call me. How? Little. My Lord of York will still be cross in talk. Uncle, your grace knows how to bear with him. You mean to bear me, not to bear with me. Uncle, my brother mocks both you and me, because I am little like an ape. He thinks that you should bear me on his shoulders. With what a sharp provided wit he reasons. To mitigate the scorn he gives his uncle, he prettily and aptly taunts himself. So cunning and so young is wonderful. My lord, would please you pass along? Myself and my good cousin Buckingham will to your mother to entreat at her to meet you at the tower and welcome you. What? Will you go unto the tower, my lord? My lord protector needs will have it so. I shall not sleep in quiet at the tower. Why, what should you fear? Marry, my uncle Clarence angry goes. My grandam told me he was murdered there. I fear no uncles dead, nor none that live, I hope. And if they live, I hope I need not fear. But come, my lord, and with a heavy heart, thinking on them, go I unto the tower. Thank you, my lord. This little prating York was not incensed by his subtle mother to taunt and scorn you thus opprobriously? No doubt, no doubt. Boy to the Perry's boy. Bold, quick, ingenious, forward, capable. He's all the mother's from top to toe. Well, let them rest. Come hither, Catesby. Thou art sworn as deeply to effect what we intend, as closely to conceal what we impart. Thou knowest our reasons urged upon the way. What thinkest thou? Is it not an easy matter to make William Lord Hastings of our mind, for the instalment of the noble Duke in the seat royal of this famous isle? No, not at all. Veto. Ladies only. Ladies only. Fellas, he for his father's sake so loves the prince, that he will not be one to aught against him. I will give you a pass, but ladies only. What thinkest thou then of Stanley? What will he? He will do all in all as Hastings done. Well then, no more but this. Go, gentle Catesby, and, as if it were far off, sound thou Lord Hastings, how he doth stand affected to our purpose, and summon him tomorrow to the Tower, to sit about the coronation, if thou dost find him tractable to us. Encourage him, and tell him all our reasons. If he be leaden, ice-cold, unwilling, be thou so too, and so break off the talk, and give us notice of his inclination. For we tomorrow hold divided councils, wherein thyself shalt highly be employed. Commend me to Lord William, tell him, Catesby, his ancient not so dangerous adversaries tomorrow are let blood at Pomfret Castle, and bid my lord, for joy of this good news, give Mistress Shore one gentle kiss the more. Good Catesby, go, effect the business soundly. My good lords both, with all the heat got king, shall we hear from you, Catesby, ere we sleep? You shall, my lord. At Crossley Place, there shall you find us both. Now, my lord, what shall we do if we perceive Lord Hastings will not yield to our comploits? Chop off his head, something we will determine. And look, when I am king, claim thou of me the earldom of Hereford, and all the movables whereof the king my brother stood possessed. I'll claim that promise at your grace's hand, and look to have it yielded with all kindness. Come, let us sup betimes, that afterwards we may digest our complots in some form. Scene 2, the same before Lord Hastings' house. My lord, my lord! Who knocks? One from the Lord Stanley. What is 'o'clock? Upon the stroke of 4. Cannot my Lord Stanley sleep these tedious nights? So it appears by that I have to say. First, he commends him to your noble self. What then? Then certifies your lordship that this night he dreamt the boar had raised off his helm. Besides, he says there are 2 councils held, and that may be determined at the one which may make you and him to rue at the other. Therefore he sends to know your lordship's pleasure, if you will presently take horse with him, and with all speed post with him towards the north, to shun the danger that his soul divines. Go, fellow, go, return unto thy lord. Bid him not fear the separate councils. His honour and myself are at the one, and at the other is my good friend Catesby, where nothing can proceed that toucheth us, whereof I shall not have intelligence. Tell him his fears are shallow, wanting instance, and for his dreams I wonder he's so fond to trust the mockery of unquiet slumbers, to fly the boar before the boar pursues, or to incense the boar to follow us and make pursuit where he did me no chase. Go, bid thy master rise and come to me, and we will both together to the Tower, where he shall see the boar will use us kindly. Now go, my lord, and tell him what you say. Many good morrows to my noble lord. Good morrow, Catesby, you are early stirring. What news in this our tottering state? It is a reeling world, indeed, my lord, and I believe will never stand upright till Richard wear the garland of the realm. How? Wear the garland? Dost thou mean the crown? Ay, my good lord. I'll have this crown of mine cut from my shoulders, before I'll see the crown so foul misplaced. But canst thou guess that he doth aim at it? Ay, on my life, and hopes to find you forward upon his party for the pain thereof. And thereupon he sends you this good news, that this same very day your enemies, this kindred of the queen, must die at Pomfret. Indeed, I am no mourner for that news, because they have been still my adversaries, but that I'll give my voice on Richard's side to bar my master's heirs in true descent. God knows I will not do it to the death. God keep your lordship in that gracious mind. But I shall laugh at this, a 12-month hence, that they which brought me and my master's hate I live to look upon their tragedy. Well, Catesby, ere a fortnight make me older, I'll send some packing that yet think not on't. 'Tis a vile thing to die, my gracious lord, when men are unprepared and look not for it. Oi, monstrous, and so falls it out with rivers long gray, and so 'twill do with some men else who thinks themselves as safe as thou and I, who, as thou knowest, are dear to Prince Richard and to Buckingham. The princes doth make high account of you, for they account his head upon the bridge. I know they do, and I have well deserved it. Enter Stanley. Come on, where's your boar spear, man? Fear you the boar, and go so unprovided? My lord, good morrow, Catesby. You may jest on, but by the holy rood, I do not like these several counsels. My lord, I hold my life as dear as you do yours, and never in my days, I do protest, was it so precious to me as 'tis now. Thank you, but that I know our state secure, I would be so triumphant as I am. The lords at Pomfret, when they rode from London, were jocund, and supposed their state was sure, and they indeed had no cause to mistrust. But yet you see how soon the day were cast, the sudden stab of rank where I misdoubt. Pray God, I say, I prove a needless coward. What, shall we toward the tower? The day is spent. Come, have with you. What my lord? Today the lords you talk of are beheaded. They, for their truth, might better wear their heads than some that have accused them with their hats. But come, my lord, let's away. Go on before, I'll talk with this good fellow. How now, Sarah, how goes the world with thee? The better that your lordship please to ask. I tell thee, man, 'tis better with me now than when I met thee last, where now we met. Then was I going prisoner to the tower, by the suggestion of the queen's allies, but now I tell thee, keep it to thyself. To say those enemies are put to death, and I in better state than ere I was. God hold it to your honor's good content. Gramercy, fellow, there, drink that for me. God save your lordship. Well met, my lord, I am glad to see your honor. I thank thee, good Sir John, with all my heart. I am in your debt for your last exercise. Come the next Sabbath, and I will content you. What, talking with the priest, Lord Chamberlain? Your friends at Pomfret, they do need priests. Your honor hath no shriving work in hand. Good faith, and when I met this holy man, the men you talk of came into my mind, what go into you toward the tower. I do, my lord, but long I shall not stay. I shall return before your lordship thence. Nay, like enough for I stay dinner there, and supper too, although thou knowest it not. Come, will you go? Scene 3. Sir Richard Radcliffe, let me all thee this. Today shalt thou behold a subject die for truth, for duty, and for loyalty. God bless the prince from all the pack of you, and not your damned bloodsuckers. You live that shall cry, woe for this hereafter. Dispatch, the limit of your lives is out. Oi, Pomfret, oi, thou bloody prison, fatal and ominous to noble peers within the guilty closure of thy walls. Richard II here was hacked to death, and for more slander of thy dismal seat we give thee up our guiltless blood to drink. Now Margaret's curse has fallen upon our heads, when she exclaimed on Hastings, "You and I," for standing by when Richard stabbed her son. Then cursed she Richard, and then cursed she Buckingham, then cursed she Hastings. Oi, remember, God, to hear her prayer for them, as now for us, and for my sister and her princely sons be satisfied. Dear God, with our true blood, which as thou knowest unjustly must be split. Make haste, the hour of death is expiate. Come, Grey, come, Vaughan, let us here embrace and take our leave until we meet in heaven. Scene 4, London, the Tower. My lords, at once the cause why we are meet, as to determine of coronation. In God's name, speak, when is the royal day? Are all things ready for that royal time? It is. And whence but domination? Tomorrow then I judge a happy day, who knows the Lord protect our mind therein. Who is most inward with noble Duke? Your Grace, we think should soonest know his mind. We know each other's faces, for our hearts we knows no more of mine than I of yours, nor I of his, my lord, than you of mine. Lord Hastings, you and he are near in love. I thank his grace. I know he loves me well, but for his purpose in the coronation I have not sounded him, nor he delivered his grace's pleasure any way therein. But you, my noble lord, may name the time, and in the Duke's behalf I'll give my voice, which I presume he'll take in gentle part. In happy time here comes the Duke himself. My noble lords and cousins all, good morrow. I have been long a sleeper, but I trust my absence doth neglect no great design, which by my presence might have been concluded. Had you not come upon your cue, my lord, William Lord Hastings had pronounced your part, I mean your voice for crowning of the king. Then my Lord Hastings no man might be bolder. His lordship knows me well and loves me well. His lord of Ely, when I was last in Holborn, I saw good strawberries in your garden there. I do beseech you and send for some of them. Mary and Will, my lord, with all my heart. Cousin of Buckingham, a word with you. Catesby hath sounded Hastings in our business, and finds the tested gentleman so hot that he will lose his head ere give consent his master's child, as worshipful he terms it. Cease and desist. Shall lose the royalty of England's throne. Withdraw yourself a while, I'll go with you. We have not yet set down this day of triumph. Tomorrow my judgment is too sudden. For I myself am not so well provided, or else I would be, where the day belonged. Where is my lord, the Duke of Gloucester? I have sent for these strawberries. His grace looks cheerfully and smooth this morning. There is some conceit or other likes him well, when that he bids him good morrow with such spirit. I think there's never a man in Christendom can lesser hide his state or love than he. For by his face straight shall you know his heart. What if his heart perceived you in his face by any livelihood he showed today? Marry, that with no man, here he is offended, for where he had shown it in his looks. I pray you all, tell me what they deserve, that do conspire my death with devilish plots of damned witchcraft, and that have prevailed upon my body with their hellish charms. The tender love I bear your grace, my lord, makes me most forward to this princely presence, to doom offenders, whosoever they be. I say, my lord, they have deserved death. Then be your eyes the witness of their evil. Look how I am bewitched, behold, my arm is like a blasted sapling, withered up. And this is Edward's wife, that monstrous witch consorted with that harlot, Strumpet Shore. that by their witchcraft thus have marked me. If they have done this thing, my noble lord, if thou protector of the damned trumpet, talkest thou to me of this? Thou art a traitor! Off with his head, now! By St. Paul, I swear I will not dine till I see the same. Lovell and Ratcliffe, look that it be done. The rest that love me, arise and follow me. Well. For England, not a whit for me, for I, too fond, might have prevented this. Stanley did dream the boar did raise his helm, and I did scorn it and disdain to fly. 3 times today my foot-cloth horse did stumble, and started when he looked upon the tower, as loath to bear me to the slaughter-house. Oi! Now I need the priest to spake to me. I now repent I told the pursuivant, as to triumphing how mine enemies today at Pomfret's bloody were butchered, and I myself secure in grace and favour. Oi, Margaret, Margaret, now thy heavy curse is lighted on our poor Hastings' wretched head. Come, dispatch, the Duke would be at dinner. Make a short shrift. He longs to see your hand. Oh, momentary grace of mortal man, which we more hunt for than the grace of God, who builds his hope in air of your good looks, lives like a drunken sailor on a mast, ready with every nod to tumble down in the fatal bowels of the deep. Come, dispatch. 'Tis bootless to exclaim. O bloody Richard, miserable England, I prophesy that fearful time to thee that ever wretched age hath looked upon. Come, lead me to the block. Bear him my head. They smile at me who shortly shall be dead. Thank you. Scene 5, London, the Tower walls. Come, cousin, canst thou quake and change thy colour? Murder thy breath in the middle of a word, and then again, and stop again, as if thou wert distraught and mad with terror. Tut, I can counterfeit the deep tragedy. Speak and look back, and pry on every side. Tremble and start wagging of straw, and tending to deep suspicion. Ghastly looks are at my service like enforced smiles, and both are ready in their offices at any time to grace my stratagems. But what? Is Catesby gone? He is, and see, he brings the mare along. Look to the drawbridge there. Hark, a drum! Catesby locked the walls. Lord Mayor, look to the drawbridge there. Hark, a drum! Catesby locked the walls. Lord Mayor, the reason we have sent. Look back, defend thee. Here are enemies. God and our innocency defend and guard us. I cannot. Interlevel, be patient. They are friends, Ratcliffe and Lovell. Here's the head of that ignoble traitor, the dangerous and unsuspecting Hastings. So dear I loved the man, and I must weep. I took him for the plainest harmless creature. That breathed upon the earth, a Christian, made him my book, wherein my soul recorded the history of all her secret thoughts, so smooth he daubed his life with show of virtue. That his apparent open guilt omitted, I mean his conversation with Shore's wife. He lived from all attainder of suspect. Well, he was the cowardice, sheltered traitor that ever lived. Would you imagine or almost believe, wouldst not that by great preservation we live to tell it, that the subtle traitor this day had plotted in the council house to murder me and my good lord of Gloucester. Had he done so? What, think you, we are Turks or infidels, or that we would against the form of law proceed thus rashly in the villain's death? But that the extreme peril of the case, the peace of England, and our person's safety enforced us to this execution. Now, fair befall you'll be deserved his death, and your good graces both have well proceeded to warn false traitors from my attempts. I never looked for better at his hands after he once fell in with Mistress Shore. Yet had we not determined he should die until your lordship came to see his end, which now the loving haste of these our friends, something against our meaning, hath prevented. Because, my lord, we should have had your heard the traitor speak, and timorously confess the manner and the purpose of his treason, that you might well have signified the same to the citizens, who haply may concoster us in him and well his death. But, my good lord, your grace's words shall serve, as well as I had seen and heard him speak, and do no doubt, right noble princes both, but I'll acquaint our duteous citizens with all your just proceedings in this cause. And to that end we wished your lordship here to avoid the censures of this carping world. But since you came too late of our intent, yet witness what you hear we did intend. And so, my good lord mayor, we bid you farewell. Go after cousin Buckingham, the mayor towards Guildhall hies him in all post. There at your meeting banished of this time, infer the bastardly of Edward's children. Tell them how Edward put to death a citizen, only for saying he would make his son heir to the crown, meaning indeed his house, which by the sign thereof was termed so. Moreover, urged his hateful luxury, and bestial appetite and change of lust, which stretched unto the servants' daughters' wives, even where his raging eye or his savaging heart without control lusted to make a prey. Nay, for a need thus far come near my person. Tell them, when that my mother went with child of that insatiate Edward, noble York, my princely father, then had wars in France, and by true computation of the time found that the issue was not his begot, which well appeared in his lineaments. Being nothing like the noble Duke my father, yet touched this sparingly, as 'twere far off, because, my lord, you know my mother lives. Doubt not, my lord, I'll play the orator, as if the golden fee for which I plead were for myself. And so, my lord, adieu. If you thrive well, bring them to Baynard's Castle, where you shall find me well accompanied with reverend fathers and well-learned bishops. Go! And towards 3 or 4 o'clock, look for the news that the Guildhall affords. Go, Lovell, with all the speed of Dr. Shaw. Go thou to Friar Pinkard, bid them well. Meet me within this hour at Baynard's Castle. Now will I end to make some privy order, to draw the brats of Clarence out of sight, and to give notice that no man or person have any time recourse unto the princes. Scene 6, the same street. Here is an indictment of the good Lord Hastings, which in a set hand fairly is engrossed, that it may be today read and pause, and mark how well the sequel hangs together. 11 hours I have spent to write it over, and yesternight by Catesby was sent me. The precedent was full as long a-doing, and yet within these 5 hours Hastings lived, untainted, unexamined, free, at liberty. Hear the good world the while, who is so gross that cannot see this palpable device. Yet who so bold but says he sees it not? Bad is the world, and all will come to naught, when such ill dealing must be seen to naught. Scene 7, the same, the court of Bainwood Castle. How now, what say the citizens? Now by the Holy Mother of our Lord, the citizens are mum, say not a word. Touch you the bastardy of Edward's children? I did, with his contract with Lady Lucy, and his contract by deputy in France. The insatiate greediness of his desires, and his enforcement of the city wives, his tyranny for trifles, his own bastardy is being got. Your father then in France, and his resemblance being not like the Duke, withal I did infer your lineaments. Being the right idea of your father, both in your form and the nobleness of mind, laid open all your victories in Scotland. Your discipline in war, wisdom in peace, your bounty, virtue, fair humility. Indeed, left nothing fitting for your purpose, untouched, or slightly handled in discourse. And when my oratory drew toward end, I bade them that did love their country's good, cry, God save Richard, England's royal king. And did they so? No. So God help me, they spake not a word, but like dumb statues or breathing stones, starred each on other and looked deadly pale, which when I saw I have reprehended them, and asked the mayor what meant this awful silence. They're using the coin on the side of that wall. But like dumb statues or breathing stones, starred each on other and looked deadly pale, which when I saw I apprehended them, and asked the mayor what meant this wilful silence. His answer was the people were not wont to be spoke but the recorder. Then he was urged to tell my tale again. Thus, said the Duke, thus hath the Duke inferred. But nothing spoken warrant from himself, when he had done some followers of mine own at the lower end of the hall, hurled up their caps, and some 10 voices cried, God save the King Richard. And thus I took advantage of those few. Thanks, gentle citizens and friends, quoth I, this general applause and cheerful shout argues your wisdom and your love to Richard. Saddam Hussein, dude, get out of that fucking goddamn bunker. And even here break off, and come away. What tongueless blocks were they? Would they not speak? Will not the mayor then and his brethren come? The mayor is here at hand, and in some fear. Be not you spoke with, but by mighty suit. And look you, get a prayer book in your hand, and stand between 2 churchmen. Good, my lord. For on that ground I'll make a holy descant, and be not easily won to our request. Get out. Play the maid's part. Still answer nay, and take it. I go. And if you plead as well for them as I can say nay to thee for myself, no doubt we bring it to a happy issue. Go up to the leads. The Lord Mayor knocks. Welcome, my lord, I dance. Attendance here. I think the Duke will not be spoke withal. Now, Catesby, what says your lord to my request? He doth entreat your grace, my noble lord, to visit him tomorrow or next day. He is within with 2 right reverend fathers divinely bent to meditation, and in no worldly suit would he be moved to draw him from his holy exercise. Return, good Catesby, to the gracious Duke. Tell him myself, the mayor and aldermen, and deep designs, and matter of great moment, no less important than our general good, and come to have some conference with his grace. I'll signify so much in him straight. Aha, my lord, this prince is not an Edward. He is not lonely on a lewd day-bed, but on his knees at meditation, not dallying with a brace of courtesans, but meditating with deep divines, not sleeping to engross his idle body, but praying to enrich his watchful soul. Happy were England, with this virtuous prince take on his grace the sovereignty thereof, but sore I fear we shall not win him in it. Marry, God defend his grace should say us nay. I fear he will. Here Catesby comes again. Now, Catesby, what says his grace? He wonders to what end you have assembled such troops of citizens to come to him, his grace not being warned thereof before. My lord, he fears you mean no good to him. Sorry I, my noble cousin, should suspect me that I mean no good to him. By heaven, we come to him in perfect love, and so once more return, and tell his grace. When holy and devout religious men are at their deeds, 'tis much to draw them thence, so sweet is zealous contemplation at 450 million. Ode to Clayton Smith. It would have been cheaper, but you meditated. See, where his grace stands between 2 clergymen, 2 props of virtue for a Christian prince, to stay him from the fall of vanity. And see, a book of prayer in his hand, true ornament to no holy man. Famous Plantagenet, most gracious prince, lend favorable ear to our request, and pardon us the interruption of thy devotion, and right Christian zeal. My lord, there needs no such apology. I do beseech your grace to pardon me, who, earnest in the service of my God, deferred the visitation of my friends. But leaving this, what is your grace's pleasure? Even that I hope which pleaseth God above, and all good men of this ungoverned isle. I do suspect I have done some offence that seems disgracious in the city's eye, and that you come to reprehend my ignorance. You have, my lord, what it might please your grace, on our entreaties to amend your fault. Else wherefore breathe I in a Christian land? Know then, it is your fault that you resign the supreme seat, the throne majestical, the sceptred office of your ancestors, your state of fortune and your due of birth, the lineal glory of your royal house, to the corruption of a blemished stock. Whilst in the mildness of the sleepy thoughts, which here we waken to our country's good, this noble isle doth want her proper limbs, her face defaced with scars of infamy, her royal stock grasped with ignoble plants, and almost shouldered in the swallowing gulf of dark forgetfulness and deep oblivion, which to recure we heartily solicit your gracious self to take on you the charge you and kingly government of this your land, not as protector, steward, substitute, or lowly factor for another's gain, but as successively from blood to blood, your right of birth, your empery, your own, for this consorted with the citizens. your very worshipful and loving friends, and by your vehement instigation in this just cause come I to move your grace. I cannot tell if to depart in silence or bitterly to speak in your reproof. Best fitteth my degree or your condition. If not to answer, you might happily thank tongue-tied ambition, not replying yielded, to bear the golden yoke of sovereignty, which formerly you would here impose on me, Clayton Dale Smith, yet to reprove you for this suit of yours. So reason with your faithful love to me. Then on the other side I check my friends, therefore to speak and to avoid the first, and then in speaking not to inquire the last, definitely that thus I answer you. Your love deserves my thanks, but my desert unmeritably shuns your high request. First, if all obstacles were cut away, and that my path were even to the crown, as a ripe revenue and due of birth. Yet so much is my poverty of spirit, so mighty and so many my defects, that I would rather hide me from my greatness, being a bark to brook no mighty sea, than in my greatness covet to be hid, and in the vapor of my glory smothered. But, God be thanked, there is no need for me. And much I need to help you. Were there need, the royal tree hath left us royal fruit, which mellowed by the stealing hours of time will well become the seat of majesty, and make no doubt. Us happy by his reign, on him I lay that you would lay on me, the right and fortune of his happy stars, which God defends that I should reign from him. My lord, this urges conscience in your grace, but the respects thereof are nice and trivial, all circumstances well considered. You say that Edward is your brother's son, so say we too, but not by Edward's wife. For first was he contract to Lady Lucy. Your mother lives a witness to this vow, and afterward by a substitute betrothed to Bona, sister of the King of France. These both put by a poor petitioner, a care-crazed mother to a many sons, a beauty waning and distressed widow, even in the afternoon of her best days, made prize and purchase of his wanton eye, seduced the pitch and height of his degree to base declension and loathes bigamy. By her in his unlawful bed he got this Edward, whom our manners call the prince. More bitterly could I expostulate, save that for reverence to some alive I give a sparing limit to my tongue. Then, good my lord, take to your royal self this proffered benefit of dignity, if not to bless us and the land withal, yet to draw forth your noble ancestry from the corruption of abusing times, until a lineal true derived course. Do, good my lord, your citizens entreat you. Refuse not, my dear lord, this proffered love. Oi! Make them joyful, grant their lawful suit. Alas, why would you heap those cares on me? I am unfit for state and majesty. I do beseech you, take it not amiss. I cannot nor I will not yield to you. If you refuse it, as in love and zeal, loath to depose the child, your brother's son, as well we know your tenderness of heart and gentle kind, affirmative remorse, which we have noted in you to your kindred, and eagerly, indeed, to all estates, yet whether you accept our suit or no, your brother's son shall never reign our king, but we will plant some other in the throne, to the disgrace and downfall of your house, and in this resolution here we leave you. Come, citizens, we will entreat no more. Call them again, sweet prince, accept their suit. If you deny them, all the land will rue it. Will you enforce me to a world of cares? Call them again. I am not made of stone, but penetrable to your kind entreats, albeit against my conscience and my soul. Cousin of Buckingham and sage grave men, since you will buckle fortune on my back to bear her burden where I will or no, I must have patience to endure the load. But if black scandal of foul-faced reproach attend the sequel of your imposition, your mirror, enforcement shall acquiescence me from all the impure blots and stains thereof. For God doth know, and you may partly see, how far I am from the desire of this. God bless your grace, we see it, and I will say it. In saying so, you shall by say the truth. Then I salute you with this royal title. Long live King Richard, England's worthy king. Amen. Tomorrow may it please you to be crowned, even when you please, for you will have it so. Tomorrow then we will attend your grace, and so most joyfully we will take our leave. Come, let us to our holy work again. Farewell, my cousin. Farewell, gentle friends.
Squad mates are in the safe zone. You're losing ground. Move it. Last chance. Fight to earn redeployment. Time for a fight. Be ready. You're next. Success means redeployment. Failure means elimination. Target down. Stand by for redeployment. You earned it.
I'm back on station! Reinforcing armor. Marking target location. Marking weapon.
Waypoint marked.
Spotted vehicle.
Loadout drop headed your way.
Loadout marked.
Gas is inbound. Marking new safe zone.
Marking target location.
UAV available for tasking.
1-1 requesting recon at this time.
Priority tasking request received. UAV entering AO.
Reloading.
Hostile UAV in the area. Your squad made it to the safe zone.
I'm
Enemy
reloading.
UAV is online. Eyes on enemy.
Got a field upgrade active here. Planting target.
Squad mates in the gulag. They'll fight for a chance to redeploy. Marking target location. Hostile shooter. Eyes on enemy. Forget it. Hostile shooter. Coordinates marked. Waypoint marked.
Took around.
Your squad mate failed their mission. They're headed back to base. Coordinates marked.
Someone buy me back in.
Fight. Enemy soldier incoming. Your squad mates in the gulag. If they survive, they redeploy. Be advised, your squad is down. It's up to you now. You've got gas inbound.
Reloading.
Safe zone relocated. Fire sale active. Buy station prices have been reduced.
Did someone buy me back in?
Got gas moving in. Fire sale's over. Adjusting prices. Hostile UAV in the area. Enemy UAV overhead.
Marking enemy. Reloading. Loading new mag.
Waypoint marked. Enemy UAV is online. Gas is closing in. Get to the new safe zone. Marking target location. Less than 25 were still standing. The enemy took that one, but we'll get them back.